We all speak the language of laughter. We all know how to do it, and we just have to remember to do it. So by the end of the day, if think about what happened to you. Did you laugh today? Did you had a moment where you were laughing with somebody, with a friend, with a colleague, anybody? If that didn't happen, then go to the bathroom. Well, actually, tell your family that you're going to do that before that, because otherwise they think you're crazy. Then you go to the bathroom, you look yourself in the mirror, and you smile for 60 seconds. Do it. Do it. You will discover something profound, okay? Well, first of all, your face will hurt. But then that
I know my
that is
face
gonna
is
spark
hurting
something.
already, and I'm just smiling at you. I'm like, jeez.
That is gonna change something.
Today's guest is someone who believes laughter is not just entertainment, it's a leadership strategy. Stefano Iaboni is an international speaker, you're a corporate trainer, and the man behind the Smile Solution, where you basically help companies and CEOs and leaders turn stress into smiles to create workplaces that are more creative and connected with joy, right? And for years, you've been walking into rooms full of adults who are stressed, guarded, and overwhelmed, and within minutes, you get people laughing and smiling. And I've actually experienced that because I saw you speak live in Portland, and it was in a breakout session that I was able to attend prior to me going on and speaking. And you captured everybody right away. And you basically teach leaders how to use humor as a tool to build trust, and spark innovation and to bring people together. And today we get to unpack this process, or your process, and your philosophy, and why you believe play isn't a childish thing. It's actually essential, especially in the workplace. So welcome to the show, Stefano, and thank you so much, because today I want to unpack why we're talking about laughter isn't being really silly, but more strategy. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is it's very exciting.
Well, you actually reached out to me and you're like, hey, for a birthday present, would you like me on as a guest? It's like, absolutely. I would love that, because you bring so much value. And I just had so much fun sitting in, even for that short period of time, listening to you speak to the whole room full of HR group. And it was just like, you really brought smile and laughter to people, and you have a natural gift. And so I
Oh,
appreciate it. And I'm super excited for you to unpack this today and kind of go through that process. But I guess let's start off right now and just say, like, why is laughing and having fun absolutely essential and not optional in the workplace? Like, why is that?
oh, I love that question. I think first of all, laughter makes you approachable. So if you're a leader, and you're able to like bring some levity, bring some laughter, bring some humor into your company, it makes you approachable. It doesn't um, it doesn't like lower your status, or it doesn't make you feel, I don't know, like, oh, this is not serious business. Actually, I believe that's a really good way to have people on your side. I think it's laughter help us, like, in a way, reframe reality. Okay, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
deny what is happening around us. Say we are like in a corporate environment, or wherever there is a stressful situation, and this applies in life and in business. So I think, in laughter really help us create that moment, that pause, that we can look at reality from a different perspective, right? So it kind of like reframes things around us, right? Again, it's not changing the thing. It's not necessarily making like the stress or the things go away. Things are going to be there, but it's just the way that when those things show up in life and business, it just help us, look at things in a different way, or just like help us like, oh, deal with it in a different way. Because I think it's sometimes, when we are in situation that can, be stressful or like unpleasant, it's very easy to go down into the negative spiral, right? Then you're like, oh,
Absolutely.
everything's negative, and then everything afterwards, like your response is going to be negative, and everything that you're going to like, all the reality around you, everything's going to be like, oh, heavy and negative, right? But laughter can, create that moment of like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can look at things from a different point of view, right? It kind of
Well,
like that.
yeah, and I think you're hitting the nail on the head in the sense that it's to be able to break down that wall, that barrier of all too serious, right? It's like every once in a
Mhm.
while, it's okay to break a smile out, And when you do, we're all the same. And it makes us
Yeah.
realize like, oh my gosh, there's some comedy here. And there's something that we have more in common, especially
Yes.
smiling. And it pauses you and makes you feel like there's nothing else. It's like going to a movie to get away from pain, right? And then in that 2 hour block, you forget about everything. And it's like when you're
Yes.
laughing and smiling and you're authentically connecting with another person, it's like you forget everything around you and all the
Yes.
surroundings. And so that's so imperative. Have you noticed that when you do that, even the hardest people to break are all of a sudden laughing? Like, can you name a situation where you went in to speak to a group of CEOs or leaders or alphas or something like that, and it was like they were all hard and they didn't want, and then all of a sudden you had them laughing, you had them eating out of the palm of your hand.
Yes. Yes, I love that. You know, actually, I want to just like the thing you said. I really like that thing. It's like going to the movies. You know, it's like because that's what happens. Beside, all the neurological things that happen in your brain, it's a moment of distraction, right? That you
Yeah,
can create through laughter. So it's like if you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with, you laugh, you're just fully present. It's like a micro meditation that happens in the moment. You're there, you're fully present. There is nothing else that's going on in your head. You're just like laughing. Okay, so interesting. I do get sometimes people like that could be like, oh, they have a little bit of resistance, and like like, oh, this is a business here, man, we're making money, we have no time to laugh. Sometimes I get that. And
yeah,
interesting enough, as you said, I don't want to generalize this, but sometimes it happens a lot, like with male, right? There is that things of like, like, oh, test me here, like, oh, what are you going to teach me here, like
yeah,
with laughter, do you think this is going to change? I think first of all, we all want to be around people that bring joy. You know what I mean? That makes you feel. I don't know. It's an energetic thing, right?
yeah,
I'm in a room with somebody that like it's vibrant, it's smiling. I don't know. Things change, right? So, and this applies to business too. Like, do you want to do business with people that are like really harsh or like negative and then I don't know, unhappy or just
yeah.
like
Mean old
I don't know.
cantankerous person. I don't want to deal with that
Yeah,
person.
exactly, right. And that's again in life, in business, right? So I think like that's why it makes you approachable. So and also like, oh, you bring a different energy in the room. If you're smiling, if you're happy, you definitely want to bring business. You want to do business with that person, and also you're going to remember that person because that laughter, that humor can create an experience in your head that you associate to that person, right?
Mhm.
So like you said, oh, I was in your keynote, I was in your breakout room, and I remember that was like over like a year ago. Why?
Yeah,
Because I didn't do anything incredible. It was very simple, but I made you laugh. So you
yeah,
remember me. So when you see me, wherever you see a post from me, you associate me to that, right? So it's yes, I think like it's something that we all know how to do, right? Laughter. It's generally speaking, we all know how to laugh, right? So we have
sure.
laughter and we have humor. They go together, but they're not the same thing, right?
Mhm.
Humor, it's more personal, it's more, I don't know, cultural. I'm from Italy, okay? So
Mhm.
something maybe funny there is not funny here, or the other way around,
Mhm.
right? But laughter, it's the language that we all know how to speak. So if I am in a corporate or like, doing a training or doing and speaking for that, I really like, I think that one of the first thing that I really try to like teach folks and like or share with people is
Mhm.
starting with yourself, starting with something that is about you, right? So self-deprecating, right? And I'm not saying you got to put yourself down. You're gonna like tell everybody like, oh, I'm terrible at this. No, no, just
Yeah.
something very simple that will like break the ice and change the energy. So one thing that I usually do, actually, usually maybe 95% of the time, when I meet somebody or when I'm speaking, I always say something like, hi, everybody. My name is Stefano, and I'm from Italy. I do apologize. Nobody's perfect. And just that simple thing, right? Look, you're smiling. You say just a
Yeah.
simple thing. I didn't put down my culture, but I say something that it's connected to me, that is, that's got something to do. And I kind of like lower myself down. And by
Yeah.
doing that, I also like lowering whatever tension might be in the room, right? So that thing, like, then you relax, right? This is
Yeah.
something that happened naturally. That you smile, or it just changes the mood, right? And this is interesting because um, this is tied to something that is also neurological. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah. Because you're
really
an expert at this. You are an expert at this and you understand why laughter can be contagious and what it
Hmm.
can do for us endorphin wise and mood wise and depression wise. And so, yeah, please explain that.
So there is this thing, I love it. Well, because actually it was a group of Italian researchers that discovered this. But so those folks were studying apes, right? Chimpanzees and orangutans, right? And they discover that apes, they do imitate each other facial expression. Now, I mean, imagine. I mean, I would love to have that experience. Imagine being in a jungle with a group of monkeys that are like imitating each other facial expression. I mean, I would pay $1 million to have that experience, right? But anyway, those people discover that we as humans we do the same thing. I mean, ultimately, we are just smarter apes. I mean, most
Sure.
of us, right? We do the same thing, right? So if I smile, and this is generally speaking, like maybe certain culture might have some more resistance towards
Absolutely.
that, but if I approach a stranger, if I approach somebody, I smile, generally speaking, that person's gonna smile back. Okay, or same thing. If I approach you with a sad
Mhm.
face, a long face, you're probably gonna do the same thing. This happens like you watch a movie, you watch something, and there is a moment, and the actors are like smiling. You're probably gonna do the same thing. You remember, like in the 90s, 80s, they had those fake laughter, the canned
Yeah, yeah,
laughter they
the
put
laugh
on, like
tracks.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they did that because two things. So one thing is like, oh, that's a joke, right? So we understand that. Oh, you hear that laughter? Say, oh, that's a joke. So I'm supposed to laugh. But
Uh-huh.
also, just because of that, you hear the sound of laughter, you're probably going to laugh back. It's incredible, right? We imitate this. So
Yeah.
another example that is not tied to laughter, but like with facial expression, right? When I'm a father of two, right? I have two kids. Well, now they're growing up. They're almost my oldest daughter, she's almost 14. But when she was a baby, right? I remember like one thing that I did when when it's time to like feed them, I would do something like this, you get a spoon and then you approach them and you do something like this, and as parents, I mean, I'm probably
Yeah. Yeah.
not the only one that did that,
Yeah.
right?
We did
What
it.
happened?
Yeah.
What
They
happens, right?
mimic you.
My daughter would do the same thing. My
Yeah.
daughter would look at me and go, She imitates my facial expression. Okay. Then,
Yeah.
easy to feed her, right? Say,
Yeah.
I approach her with a face like this. Oh, I don't think that would go really well.
Yeah.
So this is something so very simple thing, right? We look at each other, we do the same thing. So if I smile, people are gonna smile back. And then there are all this stuff that happens in our head that we're not even aware of. That when we laugh, right?
Yeah.
And this is like if you laugh for 5 seconds, if you laugh for 10 seconds, if you laugh for a minute, all this thing happens. It's like there is like a comedy show that is happening in your brain that you're not aware of. And this show has three main characters. Okay, so you have dopamine. Well, we all talk about,
Mhm.
you hear so much about dopamine nowadays, right? Oh, dopamine is the thing that creates addiction. It's not. Well, this is the good stuff. This is the good
Sure.
addiction, right?
Mhm.
Because you hear somebody laugh, you're gonna laugh along, right? You're gonna imitate, you're gonna repeat, right? And this is like in work and business. This is tied to like productivity. So if you do something, that if you accomplish something, a task, well, it could be anything, it doesn't have to be like a major project, but if you do
Mhm.
something and then you like reward it with that, then you want to do more. It's like, oh, that made me feel good. I finished that. I sent the email, it took me 20 minutes to do
Yeah.
it. I finally did it. I'm really happy about it. I want to do it again. Okay. And that could happen with anything else. So when you laugh, you produce that, right?
Mhm.
You produce dopamine. So you feel like, oh, I did something I enjoy. I want to do it again. When we laugh, we produce oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. It's like the Italian grandma, right? That comes and say, "Hey, come here, give me a hug." Okay,
Mhm.
something like that. And I did it with that voice, but you can choose whatever voice. But
You have
is that
lots of
that thing?
voices. I love it. It's like a
Yeah,
repertoire of voices.
yeah. But it's like, so it's responsible for trust between individuals. Okay,
Mhm.
and this is like, at work. So you sparking trust with your coworker, but not just that. It could be like your coworker and your manager, your coworker and your CEO, whatever, managers, right? CEO and
Mhm.
CEO, but also you and your client, right? So don't
Mhm.
you want to do business with people that you trust?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I do. And then endorphins. That's another thing that happens. So endorphins are like natural painkillers, right? They help you relax. So endorphins are like it's like the bouncer, when you go to a party, or like the bodyguard, that tells
Mhm.
everybody, "Hey, we got this, man. We got it under control. We're all in this together." So that helps you lower the tension and relax. Okay. So it creates a workplace where people are like, oh, happier, jollier, and probably have more motivation, like to go to work, right? Actually, there's one more
Absolutely.
thing, yeah, but there
Mhm.
is one last thing, and that's it's not something that we produce, but something that laughter lowers, and that is the cortisol. Cortisol
Mhm.
is the stuff
Good.
that we produce in the brain when we're stressed, right? We
Mhm.
produce cortisol, right? And that is like it's the worst thing, it doesn't, because it really debilitates us in many different levels, health wise, mentally, so when we laugh, we lower that, right? So there are studies about the people that live longer, people that
Yeah.
use more humor and laughter in life, they live longer than people that don't.
Well, and I think that that's so important because you hit on so many different points there, but it's like I want to hang out with people that are optimistic and happy. I don't want to hang out with Eeyores, people who bring me down and make me feel bad and depressed. There's nothing wrong with connecting with people like that, but it's like I want to be surrounded by that optimism and that happier feeling because it does make me more productive. It makes me want to achieve more and drive more and set higher goals. And it's just like this amazing group or community. I call it a confidence team, where I surround myself around people that lift me, right? And it is the people that I trust. It's the people that I can be authentic with, that understand who I am. I can be a ham around. Like when you've seen me do the handstand walks across the stage. It's like it's gimmicky and silly, but it's me being a ham, right? Like it can happen, and it is me being raw, and if I mess up, I mess up, and if I don't, then I have to roll with it. But it's like it
Yes.
makes people realize that we're all the same. Everybody
Yes.
can trip. Everybody can laugh at themselves. Everybody can mess up when they fumble their words. Everyone, if you speak a second or a third language, you are going to make errors all the time. Like I remember making errors in Japanese. I was like, oh, that's not
Yes.
what I meant to say, right? And so, and you have that connection as well with Italian and English. It's like it's not easy to speak a second language, but
Sure.
it is something that we can all relate to, where we fumble our words, we mess up,
Yes.
and it just makes us more human, realizing like, oh, we're more connected than we're not, and it makes you
Yes.
trustworthy. And so
Yes.
obviously it releases these endorphins, this cortisol level. You put that at bay a little bit, right? And you have the dopamine hit, because it feels so good. I love going to a movie and being excited and happy and feeling good. And you had mentioned this about in the movie, when everybody smiles, you end up smiling. And when they go underwater and they try to hold their breath, like they're under the water, and you're like, you're holding your own breath, right?
Right.
Exactly. Because you
Yeah.
do, you mimic what you're seeing in front of you, and
Mhm.
the power behind that is so amazing. What did you do? That's one example of how you got your child to eat something. How do you get let's stick with the parenting. How do you get your kids to do the things that you want them to do, besides dragging them outside with with all their clothes on? Like, what
Oh.
is something that you have found as a parent,
Mhm.
using laughter and making a ham of yourself, or
Mhm.
using facial expressions, has really worked well for you?
But I love that. I think it's just being playful, right? And then allow that, just because, as you said at the beginning, like we're like tight, and then we think like we need to be serious, and we need to be, there's this feeling of like authority, like
Mhm.
in parenting and in work, and in many aspects of our life, right? But sometimes it's just good to let that go, drop it, and be playful, right? So what I do with my kids, right? And it's not easy all the time. I'm not saying I
No,
like, the
100%.
most successful at this, right? But I try my best, to like,
Ah.
yes,
Right.
that, and also like, we have, there is moments of tensions that can happen for whatever reason. If I maybe, make it into a little game, if I change my voice, I play a little character, or even if I get a stuffy, to like, that always works. That's one thing that always works, right? and
Yeah.
and the stuffy talks, right?
Yeah.
It's just interesting. It's like it changes the reality in a way, right?
Mhm.
It's like I create something that is not real, but it connects easily. I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe because, so here's the thing, we laugh about things that we can relate, right? And I'm saying this because my background is in comedy. I mean, I still do comedy. I love comedy. I love making people laugh, right? So you laugh about things that you relate to. So you laugh because you feel like, oh, I know that experience. I
Mhm.
have been there. I know that feeling. And that could be anything, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
about it's laughing, but it also could be shame. It's like, oh gosh, I went to work and I had something on my shirt, right? I spilled something on my shirt. I didn't notice it. I was in this meeting, it was everybody was super serious. Or there was something stuck here, right? I just
Mm-hmm.
ate something and I'm talking in front of a bunch of people, and it's something until somebody points it out, right? Then
You
it's
got a
like,
big
oh,
booger on your shirt, Fred.
you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so that moment, it's like, oh gosh, it's like, oh God, I feel so embarrassed. But then telling that, when you retell the story, you can laugh about it, right? But
Yeah.
generally speaking, we laugh because we know that feeling, because we have been there. It's like, I know how it feels like, to walk into the office and then, I have been in a meeting and my shirt, I had coffee all over my shirt,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I had something stuck in my, I know, what it feels like. So if, for my kids, obviously it's different. We are in the same space, but we have different reality. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Here, so like the reality. And my daughter, she's 9. I have a 9-year old and 14 years old. Right? They live in different realities. So the things they relate to are different, right? And even like in a in a comic or in a humorous thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is something that probably makes my 9 years old laugh that won't make my 14 years old laugh, because there are things that are different for them that relate to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say something that it could be funny, and this is like, we're like even younger kids, right? What do they laugh about, right? When they go to school, the world, they laugh about. Or when I ask my daughter, that's another strategy that I use. If I say, hey, what happened at school today? Oh, okay, stuff, same old things. If I
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, did anybody make you laugh today? Did you laugh about something? Was there something very funny? Oh, boom, that's part of something else. I get a different response. So my youngest daughter can say something about, that is connected, that is related to a world. It could be something, oh, somebody at school farted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That is funny for her, because
Uh-huh.
for that age group, oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
For
Sound
my
like my
14 years
5-year-old.
old
Yeah.
daughter, oh, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, somebody did that. Oh my God, that's gross. That's
Yeah.
embarrassing. So they connect. So for me at home, the strategy is like, oh, I need to understand, what is could be something that could make them laugh or could change that moment, right? But it's so fascinating to see how fast and how easy that emotion can switch. They're
Sure.
like, she's upset, and then I say something, I make a silly face, I do something silly, whatever that is, and I can see her, I can see that she's,
Holding
trying
it
to like
back. Yeah.
resist, like, "Oh, no, I'm upset. I'm not supposed to laugh." You laugh, boom, all the tension goes down, everything changes. It's incredible. And again, I'm not saying it works all the time. I would
But
say the
it
majority of the
puts,
time it works.
but it puts you in the light of like, oh, my dad's not too serious. He can be a ham. He can be
Mm.
relatable, and
Yes,
their friends can relate to you too, because like, your dad's cool. Your dad's awesome. Like he plays
yes.
with us and he makes it fun. Well, I love that. What I also heard you say, and I kind of want to go back to it, is that you had mentioned like there's something everybody's ashamed of being embarrassed at work or being called out on something, and but in reality we all have gone through it, which is what makes comics so great, because when they get on stage and they say something, the reason that we love it and laugh at it is because we can relate to it and we've been that person. But what you're also tapping into is that there is a difference. There's a reality base, or like a knowledge or experience level, where it's like the child thinks that it's not funny because it's too serious or it's gross, whereas this kid
Mhm.
thinks it's super funny to make the fart sounds, right? And
Yes.
so there's obviously a difference in it. I give you kudos to be able to switch it, to be able to go back down to that level and find that's like that love language for a child, or with
Mhm.
someone else, like in corporate or something like that, being able to connect with them on their level. What is that like? But I don't think that is natural. I think you have to work at it,
Mm.
because
Yes.
I have a feeling like a lot of people, they do care about what people think. They're like, I don't want to laugh at work. I don't want people to think that I'm stupid, or that I have something on my shirt, and it's terrifying for them. And so
Mhm.
how do you tell that
Mhm.
person it's okay? Because it's a confidence thing. And I think,
Mhm.
how do
Yes.
you break that barrier and say it's okay to have the booger on there and roll with it? Because most people are going to be embarrassed. And what is it? What's the secret sauce that you can share with somebody that they would understand? Like, hey, if I mess up, roll with it, make fun of myself. And you would kind of mention that at the very beginning, like, I make fun of myself and I bring myself and my culture and my language into it. but I'm just lowering myself, but it makes it more connected. So what is the secret sauce that you think would give someone that confidence boost to be okay with being yourself and to be authentic at the workplace, even when you mess up, even when something embarrassing happens to you? Like, what is that secret sauce that you would tell somebody to gain the confidence to be okay and roll with it?
I love that. I think it's really like pause and be aware, right? It's really like sometimes like this is not about humor, right? It's really about noticing reality around you. Okay, and I believe, yeah, that is true. That a lot of folks, a lot of us might have fear or might you don't want to feel like ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
That feeling, oh, I don't want to look stupid in front of somebody else, right? But it's really like, first of all, we all have done it, and this is like the only way we learn is by making mistake, right? So the secret is this: are we able to make fun of ourselves or laugh at that thing while we are in the moment? Okay, because it's funny afterwards. Most of the time it's funny afterwards. So you mentioned something earlier. It's like, oh, where something like, if you see somebody that walking on the street and they fall, right, you might laugh or you might not. So you laugh
Mhm.
when there is not, when you know that person is fine. Okay, they fall and then they get up again and everything is okay, no broken legs, no broken bones, then we laugh about it. Okay,
Mhm.
if something happens, it's like, oh, accident, oh, that's not funny anymore, right?
Mhm.
So can we go to the moment when that things happen, when that embarrassing moment happen, or where something silly happen, when something that is like out of the box happens? Can we just pause, look at that reality, and laugh at it in the moment instead of like wait and then, oh, okay, later on the next day or 2 hours later, we're like, whoa, okay,
Mhm.
I digested that experience. I've been through that experience. Like, okay, now I can talk about it and remember and remind them. Oh, you remember that day when I walked into the room in the meeting and I had that thing flapping in my back? Oh,
Yeah.
that was fun. Later,
Well,
can you
it
laugh
makes
about
a
it in
good
the moment?
story. It makes a good story later,
Yes,
right? And in the
yes,
moment,
later.
you can be embarrassed. And I
Yes.
I love that you mentioned, like, the falling down, because you can be the ham and you can make fun of yourself, but it can also help to have a catalyst around you. Like, when I see someone that they fall and they're, like, looking around, like, I will always say, "No one saw that. Don't worry. Don't worry about it." Like, and it immediately makes them laugh, right? Like, because 'cause we've all
Yes.
fallen and
Yes.
nobody saw you. I hope no one saw. Well, actually, I did, right? And so it just makes it, but I'll announce it publicly, and it just makes it
Mhm.
such a more memorable piece. But it lightens the mood. And so sometimes you have to have that confidence to be able to make fun of yourself, or if you're around someone who can be that catalyst to make fun of it, not you personally, but the
Mhm.
situation, it really does
Yes.
lighten the load. And I love that.
Yes.
Um,
And yeah, as you say, like, if you fell, and yeah, this is very interesting. Like the first reaction is this: if you're fine, if you didn't hurt yourself, you fell, you didn't hurt yourself, you stand up, and then you do this, right? You
yeah,
look around, you want to see, like, oh,
yeah,
did anybody see
yeah,
me? Because you don't want
yeah,
to look ridiculous, right?
yeah,
But acknowledge that moment. That's what brings levity. You acknowledge the thing. Somebody saw it. If they saw it, everybody saw it, right?
mhm,
It's like if I'm on stage, I make a mistake, I can't pretend it didn't happen. Everybody
mhm,
saw it. I'm on stage.
yeah,
I'm in front of everybody. I'm speaking. Say or even if I'm speaking, right? I have my clicker, right, and I'm
yeah,
going over my slide, and then I dropped my clicker. That wasn't on purpose. That was a little accident. You know, can I use that moment? That's like on a mistake, not really, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
Can I use that? Because that can spark something else, instead of like being ashamed, instead of like, oh gosh, pretend that didn't happen, oh, I fell and pretend they didn't see me, oh, Blue didn't see me, right? Did he
mhm,
see me? Yeah, of course he did. They saw you. Okay, acknowledge that. Can you make fun of that moment? Can you
yeah,
say something about it, right? I
yeah,
don't know, whatever that is. And this is, again, it takes practice, right? It's like,
yeah,
oh, I'm not gonna, maybe I have a joke right at the moment, or maybe I just need to learn how to develop that. But it's really like, can I look at the reality from a different perspective? Can I change that reality and say something silly about it, right? Oh, I don't know, I fell, and I can stand up and say something. Oh, I guess gravity is not really working for me today. I don't know, something
mhm.
like that. And it's not about being the funniest person in the room. No, it's just like acknowledge what happened
You're
and
normal.
kind of reframe it in a different way.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned, like, it's a skill that you can build. right? And you create a repertoire of different like comebacks, or it's almost like playing tennis with your life, right? Like back and forth, like what can I do? What can I go back and forth? And I mean, I've messed up on the stage before, which is another reason, like I don't use slides because it's too often that the slides will go out, the PowerPoint will go out. So
Yes.
I go off of my memory, right? And so it's like, I'm just removing one of those barriers that I could mess up at. But I mean, I've seen people trip and fall all the time, and it just happens to the best of us. And I think the more practice you get and the more you realize that you're normal and that we all do it, it really does help you get through those situations, and that confidence can be boosted. And I want to bring up confidence because this story is where you and I actually connected, and that is where we had connected on LinkedIn, and so we just virtually knew each other. And I saw you at an event, and I turned over and I go, Stefano, hey, how are you? And you're like, oh, hi, Blue, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I go, and you're like, what's your name? And you didn't say Blue. And I go, what's your name? I go, mi chiamo Blue Stiley. And you were like, and you looked at me and you gave me a pause for a second and you go, are you Italian? And I go, no. And you go, okay, because your accent sucked, but you were so confident that it could have been Italian. And I was like, yes, I love that.
Yes.
But it's about having that confidence, even if I mess up. Of course, I'm not Italian. Of course, my accent's horrible, but it makes you a little more comfortable. It shows that I care about you enough to realize, like, oh, this guy's Italian. I maybe can make him more comfortable. I can make him feel at ease a little bit in a first introduction. I can make fun of myself because obviously I'm not Italian. But I love that you came back with, well, you were confident enough to be Italian.
Yeah, I love this. And this is really, yes, it creates instant connection. Okay. I relate. I'm connected to you. That moment of like, oh, I pause and then ask you, hey, are you Italian? You know, that moment, poof, connection, right? Instant connection. And it makes me feel like, even if your accent was wrong or not, it's like, oh, it reminds me we're all human. Okay. We all make mistakes. We all like do silly things, right? It's just that, I don't know. It's just that it can change really things around, and really surely boost your confidence, right? Because ultimately it's really about your confidence and it's your attitude. So, and this is in life, in business, whatever, as a keynote speaker, as an actor, or whatever that is that you do, but not necessarily, even as a parent. If you believe in something, if you have fun with it, then people are gonna go along with you. Okay. If I believe in what I'm going to preach, if I believe in my speech, if I believe in my, I don't know, whatever that is, my values, right? But I truly do, then I can do anything. And I share this because I experienced this with like over 20 plus year in comedy. Okay. And my type of comedy is also interesting because sometimes people associate comedy with like stand-up comedy, right? And this is global, generally speaking. It could be in the United States, it could be in Italy, anywhere in the world. You say, oh, you're a comedian, oh, you're a stand-up comedian, you tell jokes. No, my type of comedy, it's mainly non-spoken. Okay. I'm not a mime, but it kind of like sort of like not verbal, right? So like Mr. Bean, okay? Well, we all understand Mr. Bean because we can all relate. He doesn't need a language, okay?
Yeah.
And then so we all get it, right? That's beyond it surpasses that beyond language, right? You create instant connection. That's because laughter is the language that we all speak. It's a universal language, right? We all know how to do it. Again, humor and laughter go together, not the same, okay? But like that, I don't know. It just I've been in places where I perform in places where I did not speak the language, right? And that didn't matter, because through the laughter, it's like, in a way, it's like sports, it's like if I play soccer, if I play football, whatever that is, baseball, whatever that is, I could be anywhere in the world. I bring a ball out, people are going to join me, okay? I don't need to speak. We connect, right? We all know how to do it. So, and going back to the attitude and confidence, I have been, because if as a humorous actor, right? I need to believe in the part I'm playing. I need to believe the role I'm doing. If I believe, and it could be something that is like, I'm absolutely inept. I'm absolutely like, okay, I pretend to be a ballerina. I'm not a ballerina. I have no idea. I don't know how to do it. But if I do it and I believe in it, and if I believe I am, people are going to believe me. And people are going to laugh because they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. It's such an idiot, right? But he's so into his part that we all gonna we create that complicity. Okay, we like, oh, we love you, man. We know that you're not,
Yeah.
but we can all relate, and we can all, oh, we can make fun because we know the stereotypes. We know the stereotypes about being a ballerina, or the movement they're gonna make, or the way they're gonna be dressed. But because I believe, so that boosts my confidence, right? So I
Absolutely.
believe, and this, again, this is for anything, any aspect in life. You believe in it. You really like, oh, this is really my value, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with this. This is what I preach. This is what I talk about. So if I believe, people are gonna believe. If I have fun, people are gonna have fun. If I show up in a room, I'm having a good attitude. I'm ready to like have fun, enjoy myself. People are gonna join me. If I go at work, if I go in a place, if I go in a meeting, and my energy is like, oh, well, I don't know, man. Oh gosh, another meeting. Oh God, it's not gonna work the same.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna feel it. We're all gonna feel that you're not enjoying yourself. We're not gonna enjoy yourself. You're doing a presentation, wherever that is. Are you enjoying yourself? Yes or no? You can tell.
Yeah.
And kids are great at this. Kids are great at like spotting that out because they have no filters. They're gonna tell you straight away. Oh man, you suck at that.
Yeah.
That was terrible. That impression of a ballerina. That was awful.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
tell you straight away, right?
Well,
There's not. And we adults, then things change. But anyway,
it's so when you, as a keynote speaker, a lot of people are always like, what's the hardest audience that you've ever spoken to? And I'm like, it's always a high school group. It's like, it
oh,
is so difficult because they're raw. First of all, getting them to pay attention is hard, but they will tell you straight up, like, that didn't make sense. Oh, that was stupid. Like, what am I doing to connect? What 6, 7, like what little thing am I doing to try to relate to them and connect with them? And they're like, no,
yes.
that it's stupid coming from you, man. And I'm like, all right, but it's like, they are raw and it's hard.
Mm.
What is a moment, because you're talking about changing people's lives and changing the attitudes, what is a moment that you've walked into a room and you've done something where you've used laughter to change the attitude of everyone in that room? What is a moment that you've done that?
Wow, I love that. I work as a volunteer for like so wait, let me rephrase it. I'm a cancer survivor. Okay. So um during cancer, laughter was a major thing that helped me through it. Okay. It
Mm.
gave me the really right attitude to fight it back, right? So later in life, I had the opportunity, because I'm still here to tell the story, to work with like cancer patient. And then I work with this association. They will bring me into the chemo room. Okay. So the chemo room, this is I mean, it's
The
crazy, right? But
ultimate.
it's like a big room, and you have people sitting on those like kind of like like comfy chairs, right?
Yeah.
And they're getting they call it infusion. I love that term, right? Infusion. Because if I think of infusion, I think like, oh, I'm gonna have a cup of tea. Well, not exactly.
Yeah.
They're gonna like pump that like chemo stuff into your system that
Vein.
kills everything, right? So people are tired. People are depressed. People are just like, oh man, I'm not in the mood to laugh. Well, that was one of the hardest thing, right, for me, to walk into the room and make them laugh or do something that will spark laughter. Everything change because the energy change, and then we connect, and ultimately people want to share about themselves. People want to tell the story. Everybody wants to share what they have, right? So there was like a situation that I felt like I came home feeling like, wow, I really feel like I did something important
Yeah.
today. I really made a difference. Those people, and again, maybe you know, uh, I didn't change everything, but in that moment, I had them distracted. In that moment, people were like, "Oh, I'm not thinking of what is happening here,
Well,
right?
and
I'm not
that
thinking
ties,
about the
yeah, that ties right into the movie, right? Like, we go to a movie and we forget about reality and life for a little bit.
yes,
And it's like, even that moment of pause lets us kind of relax and realize, like, life is still here. We can still feel the pain later, but
yes,
and you relieved something for them, and you gave them entertainment or a smile or a laugh, and it's like you changed somebody's life, even if it was for a fraction of a moment of time.
absolutely. I know that I made an impact. I know that I made a difference. And that day, I was I just felt like, oh, I put a smile on their faces. That doesn't happen every day. That, like, I mean, I've been there. I know it's not a fun experience, like getting chemo, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh God, this thing sucks. Everything tastes like terrible. I have no energy. Oh, ugh, I feel terrible. That moment, it changes everything. And I want to share one more thing.
Yeah.
While I was doing the chemo treatment, I was also producing a show. And I felt like, oh, am I going to be able to do it? I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I felt terrible. I was like, oh, I lost weight. I had no hair, which is, for an Italian person, it's like having no hair. Oh gosh, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I decided, like, I'm going to do it anyhow. Right. And I was really scared. I was scared. I was like, oh, am I going to survive? The moment I step on stage, how am I going to make people laugh? I can't even laugh at myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somehow I did it. It worked. That gave me energy. Walking off the stage, I was a different person from the moment I walk on stage. I walk on stage like a half dead person. I walk off stage feeling I'm alive again. It's me again. Okay, and this is tied to the chemical stuff that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
power of
happened.
the
I didn't
endorphin
realize. That's when I
dopamine.
got into studying. Like, oh, wait a minute, what is happening here? I'm very curious. So, like, why am I feeling like this? An hour ago, I was feeling terrible. Now I feel great. And
Mm-hmm.
that feeling will last for a couple of days. You know what I mean? A couple of days of feeling great, and then go down again. But you know what I mean?
But it's a natural high. You're giving yourself a natural
Yes,
high. And you
yes,
didn't realize that you had filled a bucket of happiness and like a reward bucket for yourself by doing that. And you did it to yourself. You gave yourself
yes,
that natural high. And you also mentioned that when you got home, you were like, and after you had spoken to the other chemo patients, you were like, you felt good yourself from making somebody else happy. And I think that's something that from the stage I love to do when people come up and they're like, oh my gosh, you had me laughing, or oh, you told this story and it reminded me of my dog or something like that. And it's something that relates, that you change their perspective or you change their life. And it's something that they need to hear at that
yes,
moment. And you
yes.
obviously did that. How would you tell somebody to, what do you tell people to break down that wall immediately when you speak to people? Like when you're teaching them how to break down that barrier of like too serious, don't, even when you have chemo, even if you're a cancer patient, like you can relax for 1 minute and smile. What is it that you tell people or teach people to be able to do that to other people, to gain not only that reward bucket for you to make yourself feel good about making an improvement on somebody else's or an impact on somebody else's life, but then also to make you feel good to that person
Yes.
and yourself.
Yes. So for my keynote, I joke about my name. That's I kind of like always open with that. I make a little joke about my name because my name. Sometimes what I usually get in the United States is people call me Stefano. Okay. So I make a little joke. I say something like, "Oh, you have Stephanie and Stefano. Well, I'm the one with the no." Something like that. That brings the tension down. That help people relax. They understand how to, like, oh, how to say my name, right? It's something easier. And then and this works when I'm like in whatever environment, during the keynote, during the workshops, or during, like, if I'm even with, like, cancer patient, I
Mhm.
play little games like the game we play with you when we met. When you saw me do that presentation, I play a little game. I say, hey, introduce yourself. Look to the person next to you, right? And just introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is Blue, but you can also call me. And then you say your name backwards. Okay. And sometimes it's like, there is that moment of people are like, how do I say my name backward? There is that
Mhm.
moment like that you don't know how to do it. So maybe you even have to write it down. That's something so silly. You say my name backward. People laugh, they relax. Or
Mhm.
then if I want to go like even further, and then this depends on the audience, depends on where I am, depends on like who I'm dealing with. It's an extra level of courage or
Mhm.
bravery. I
Mhm.
say your name, tell me something that you like, okay? And now we're gonna add a little something. Keep it brief. Oh, and then people say, "Oh, my name is Stefano. I like pizza." Oh, great. Now do it again and add this. Have your tongue sticking out of your mouth. Try it. And then if people are willing to do it, I mean, every time it works. Like every time. Hey, I'm Stefano. I like pizza. Just saying that is nothing. It's nothing. See you
Yeah.
laughing. it is absolutely nothing. People, they start laughing, and
Yeah.
again, laughter is contagious. If I'm doing a presentation in front of a bunch of people, some people are going to start laughing. Within second, most of the room will be laughing because of that. You hear the sound of laughter, you start laughing along. So the study shows that even in comedy, we don't laugh necessarily at the joke itself. We laugh mainly at the sound of laughter, right? We
Wow.
laugh because other people are laughing. It's
Yeah.
incredible, right?
Yeah.
And then you always have that person, they might have a very loud laugh. They might have a very unique laugh, right? And they're gonna like help everybody else laugh,
Yeah.
right? And it's just something like that simple. So just little game. And again, this is not tied to humor. I'm not telling people, hey, come up with a joke. Okay, tell
Yeah.
me a joke now. Oh, I put you on the spot. I don't know. I'm not a comedian. I don't know what to say. This is embarrassing. Oh, no, it's just something. It's just a little game that we know. I mean, if people are willing to, again, this depends on
Yeah.
the audience, right? It depends who you're dealing with. But if people are willing to do this, I mean, I did this like on television program. I did this like on Keynote. I did this like with cancer patient. The thumpings
Uh-huh.
works all the time. Works all the time. And I mean, I imagine I'm in a room and it is like 20 people. They're like this on chemo. I say, hey, how about we do this? Okay, let's just try this little game. Okay, if you're willing to try, I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to be silly just for a second because the world out there demand us to always be perfect, to always be the number one. Whatever things. Here maybe it's okay to relax just for a sec, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
be silly, right? That makes you human, right? Just try this little game. People do that. Oh, it changes everything. People start laughing, because of one reason or the other. And especially like, because I always say, hey, keep it brief, okay? Say
Yeah.
something, but keep it brief. Sometimes people might really want to share a lot. Hey, my name is Michael. You know what? I love hiking on like really beautiful sunny days. I love the Pacific Northwest. It's one of the best places in the world, right? They say something like that. Okay, try to say that with your tongue sticking out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. You're gonna have so much laughter
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the other people, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
you so also they laugh because they are sharing the same experience, okay? They're all doing the same thing. I'm not like asking just one person to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We all gonna do it, right? So we all together in this. So you don't feel silly, you don't feel ridiculous because you just saw somebody else doing it, right?
Right.
Because
Everybody's in the limelight. Everybody's
yes,
partaking, and it's something that you can all do. We can all stick our
yes,
tongue out and do it. And I will say that I have used that. I used your name backwards with my family on a road trip, and
yes.
the kids thought it was the funniest thing. Right. And my wife was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like it was so funny, and I mean, it was probably 20 minutes that we laughed about the whole thing the entire time. It was 20 minutes of a long drive, and we experienced it, and
Yes.
that came from you. And I've seen that kind of laughter can transform not only kids but also giant groups. I throw out lines and I make fun of my name from the stage as well, right? And it's like growing
Mhm.
up with the name Blue was awful, but it's like, how can I be in the limelight and make fun of myself? Because most
Mm.
of us have something about us that we can share and make fun of ourselves. And so it's not that hard to lower yourself and try to connect with people. And so
Yes.
what is one thing that you would want our audience to be able to take home with them tonight and share with their family or at
Yes.
work with their colleagues to really break that barrier down and make the workplace or the home environment a little more friendly, a little less serious today? Because I think we're in a world right now where it's like it's so combative and it's like, oh, let's bring a little optimism. What is one thing that you would say that everybody here can take home with them tonight and bring home to their families or with their colleagues at work today to really break down that barrier a little bit and have a little bit more fun and be a little more silly?
We all speak the language of laughter. We all know how to do it, and we just have to remember to do it. So by the end of the day, if think about what happened to you. Did you laugh today? Did you had a moment where you were laughing with somebody, with a friend, with a colleague, anybody? If that didn't happen, then go to the bathroom. Well, actually, tell your family that you're going to do that before that, because otherwise they think you're crazy. Then you go to the bathroom, you look yourself in the mirror, and you smile for 60 seconds. Do it. Do it. You will discover something profound, okay? Well, first of all, your face will hurt. But then that
I know my
that is
face
gonna
is
spark
hurting
something.
already, and I'm just smiling at you. I'm like, jeez.
That is gonna change something. That is surely gonna change something. Okay. So just remember, pay attention, slow down, pause, laugh, reset. Again, pause, laugh, reset. You pause, you look at the reality around you. What are the things that make you laugh? What are the things that can spark just a smile or just
Mhm.
something, right? That moment, your brain is going to reset. You start, you're looking at the reality from a different point of view.
And that's so important to look at life from a different perspective, right? And that's the way to change your mindset is that it's not always about you, it's about other people, and it's about we're all more connected than not. And I think today you gave us so many little nuggets for people to practice, whether that's saying your name backwards, giving something short and sticking your tongue out, or taking that pause and realizing that we have. I love the 60 seconds. I don't know if I'm going to do it today because my cheeks already hurt watching you because we do video record this. It has just been such a pleasure to have you share some of the nuggets that you've done and doing the things that you're doing in this world. Because I know you're making an impact in this world, Stefano. And I just, I appreciate you and I appreciate our friendships and I look up to you and I can learn so much from you. And even as a dad, even as a dad or when I'm speaking to the corporate groups, it's like we're all more related and it's like take advantage of that and take a step back and relax and be you, be your authentic self and be able to do it with a smile on your face and work on that confidence because it doesn't come naturally all the time. Find a catalyst, somebody who can help you along the way or be that person to fill the other person's reward bucket. So I love that. Where can people find out more about you? Because more about your podcast, more about your speaking, and then more about your film career.
Yeah, so you can look up my website. Actually, you can do it. You can either use my name, so www.stefanoiaboni.com, or you can just simply go www.smilesolutionpnw Pacific Northwest pnw.com. Right, and
Mm-hmm.
Smile Solution is my company, so you can find me either under my name or either under Smile Solution Pacific Northwest PNW, or I'm going to share the LinkedIn with you. It's just my name. And yes, I have also a YouTube channel, Smile Solution PNW, and there there is my podcast there. I interview people about the power of humor, the power of laughter in the workplace, and I also give away. I try to do it weekly when I have the time, but I try to give away little clips or little tips about what can we do at work to like spark something like funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some little games that we can play that can help us maybe change the energy in the workplace, and eventually create a place where people are like happier, jollier, and thrive
Mm-hmm.
ultimately. Yeah.
Well, let me finish with this and this call to action, and that would be: you're obviously an optimistic person, and you've gone through cancer, you've survived this. How do you, even on your bad days, how do you pick yourself up? How do you remind yourself to be that optimistic, happy person who spreads positivity and makes an impact on this world?
Mm. I love that. Yes, I agree with you. I'm generally speaking, I'm happy, but also, like everybody, I'm human. So I
Mm-hmm.
also have bad days. I also have moments of doubts. I also have moments, especially if you are an entrepreneur, if you are like a self-employed. I think like we all can share their struggle. Like, oh, I got to motivate myself, or to do something that I don't have it, and I'm my own boss, right? So, I think one good strategy is like I'm gonna share a few, right? It's really like maybe listen to something funny, go to a podcast and listen to something funny. That's gonna, spark something. It's gonna change your day. It's gonna change your energy, right? Who's your favorite comedian, right? And that social media, how it works with the algorithm, they're gonna feed you more of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I listened like just the other day. I was on the road trip and I was listening to Trevor Noah. Actually, I was listening to his podcast. I find it very interesting, and he has humor in his
Mm-hmm.
podcast. That really like help. So maybe like, oh, now I want to listen to his stand-up show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Read something funny. Watch something funny. Watch clips. But also, this is something that I learned from this. What's the name? Sonia. I'll share it. Like I'll send you the link. But anyway, She wrote a book about the science of happiness and like what things we can do, because something that we need to cultivate,
Mhm.
like joy, happiness, and things that, like, one thing that she says. And actually, just recently, I read a study about, that like saying things out loud can change things, right? The way the brain receives it.
Mhm.
So if you're having a bad moment, if you're having a bad day, if you're feeling sad, you want to really shout out loud, say this: stop! Say that. Say that. Stop with the sadness. Say, but you got to say it out loud. Okay. I know. I look like
Stop
I'm
with the
crazy.
sadness. It's almost like a
Yes.
self-talk.
Yes. Yes. That stuff works. I know it sounds crazy, but
No,
that
I
stuff
agree
works.
with you 100%. 100%.
Yes.
Moving forward, I'm going to go into the bathroom and smile for 60 seconds. And I'm going to say, stop with the sadness, because it's about how I tell myself, like, get up. It's time to go. Like, quit
Yes.
being the sad panda, quit being the victim. And it's like, the problems will be there tomorrow or the next day. Deal with the right now, which is solve that problem. And why not do it with a smile on your face? And just that self-talk and that smile really do break the barrier down and make you feel more comfortable. And it's like, you forget for that slight second that we have more in common, that it's okay. It's going to be okay. It is going to be
Yes,
okay.
ultimate is that. Ultimate is that. Things are gonna be okay, right? One
Yeah.
last thing, and this is where with parents, right? If your kids, if they fall, and this is like it works all the time. They fall, right? Nothing happens, nothing major, right?
Yeah.
So if my response is like, "Hey, you just fell, man! Wow, that was amazing! Look at that trip you did! Oh gosh!" But I do it with like in jolly way, funny way. The response is gonna get different. If I say, "Oh my God, you fell! Oh gosh, are you
Mm.
okay?" Oh, this is gonna change. And so this little thing, can you apply this in life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like if you look at the reality, but you look at with that approach of like, oh, jolly, funny, even if you don't believe in it, right? Try, even like fake it, okay? It's gonna change, okay? So if I do that with my kids, they fall down and I say, "Oh my gosh, that was amazing." Obviously, if nothing terrible happened, right? If they're bleeding, if they broke a bone, okay, yes, okay, let's go to the hospital. But it's nothing major, But I respond with that attitude. They're gonna it's gonna be so easy, like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'm fine. I'll just like brush it off," and they're just gonna keep playing, right? So
Well,
that's I think a good tip to apply in many different things in life.
and that goes right back to when somebody falls and say, nobody saw that. Right. Like, it's just because if I make fun of it, then obviously it was kind of funny. Right. But I
Hmm.
think laughter is that medicine that a lot of us need, even in the workplace and especially with our kids. And we can be great mentors or great influencers to other people if we have that smile and we're optimistic and we're happy and we're making fun of ourselves. It really will make other people realize, like, okay, we're going to be okay.
Yes.
Well, I love that.
Oh,
I love that.
yes.
Thank you so much for sharing some nuggets with me today, mister. And I'm wishing you the best of luck. I can't wait to share the stage again with you. And I'm just going to keep following you, mister, because I love what you're doing and I love the work that you're doing and the difference you're making in people's lives. So thank you very, very much.
Oh, thank you for having me, and same wise. I so much appreciate you, and so much appreciate the things that you're doing, and what you're doing with the world.
Well, now
Bravo.
you're a part of
Keep
it,
doing that.
Stefano. So there you go. And I guess I
Take
would
care, my
say,
friend.
ciao.
Ciao.
Bye, ciao. Ciao. See, I got him to laugh. I've just done my job for the day. Brendan, give me a smile. I love it. Thank you so much, brother, for being on here today, and have a wonderful, wonderful week, okay?
All right, you too. You take care. Ciao,
Thanks.
ciao.
If this episode brings you value or you know someone who could benefit from it, the best way to support the show is by sharing and subscribing. It's completely free and helps us reach more people. And if you have any questions, feedback, or guests you'd like me to interview, drop a comment while you're there. I'd love to hear from you. And most importantly, thank you for tuning in. And let's continue sharing optimism and positivity.